Welcome to Hunting Habitat. It's that time of year to get out on your land and do some shed hunting. So a nice sunny day, even though I prefer shady days, but got an opportunity to get out with my brother and go look for some antlers. See what we find. Well, one of the first tips I'll give you is to hit the bedding areas really hard and spend some time. It's pretty obvious, but one of the best spots. What? Well, as I'm on video here, my brother is shaking his hands, or rubbing his hands together. He said he found a match set. Don't pick them up yet. Let me go look here. I was just doing a video, Zach, of the first place I look is in these thick bedding areas. And how good they can be. Literally right here. Is just the one, or you from the other one you found? Is it the other side that you found? Okay, here's the shed. He sees the other one there. The other one's right up here. So you can see how thick this is. You gotta pick this one up. I'm videoing this one. Look at that. Nice one. Nice clean shed. Hold it this way. Awesome. Cool. Let's go look at this other one. I'm excited. This is the first place I wanted to look. Right in here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, right there. Nice deer.
Sweet. That was a nice up and comer.
So yeah, right here's this bedding area. You can see how thick it is. Oh, that's my first tip, is look in areas like this. I'll give you tip number 2 and so forth here in a little bit. Now I'm realizing I gotta look or my brother's gonna find them all. So, tip number 2, when I go out, I usually bring an antler from the house, about this size. You just carry them and look at them. There goes the turkey. And sometimes throw them out and look. But it just really helps get your eye trained, and so you're not missing many. Always gonna miss some, but that way you miss less. Anyway, we're continuing on. We haven't found any more yet. Another tip for you when you're out shed hunting is, if you're walking along, kind of get carried away looking ahead, just stop, look back the other way, and keep going. But a lot of times I've looked back and there's an antler laying there, so I don't know, don't rule that out, and slow down a little bit in spots that look really good and look all directions. So especially when it's this grassy stuff, they can really hide in spots like this. So look back. All right, we'll keep going. I just got out here to the Firefly 40. It is habitat season and shed season. I love shed hunting and always have. Had a lot of good luck over the years. But I found one here at the Firefly about a month ago when I was walking in to do a chainsawing project.
Find it. Oh my goodness. I told you. Good boy. Good find.
Here we go. Good job, Parker. You already got a little blood on your nose there, bud. But I'm gonna kind of just walk around today and looking some of the hot spots and see if I can't find one. But along the way, I'll throw at you a few tips of some things that have given me some good success over the years. Some of them are pretty obvious, but sometimes the obvious things in shed hunting are what you should be doing. So stay tuned. We'll see if we find any. The next tip for you is just to follow those heavy trails between the bedding and the food. You know, look for creek crossings, ditch crossings, fence crossings, stuff like that. So I'm on trail right now. There's quite a bit of sign on it. So we'll see. Nothing yet. But specifically, pay attention to where are the deer bedding from February 1st until about March 15th. I've always had the best luck looking, in the areas the deer spend the time from, even to key it in a little more, February 10th to March 5th. It's kind of the time frame that I really like. So if you can know where the deer are feeding and bedding and whatnot during that period, then you're going to have so much more success looking. If you only have your land, then you can only do what you can do on that. But if you don't have food holding them there, then you're probably not going to find many sheds, which in our situation, our property is 40 acres of solid timber. We don't have, quote unquote, late season food plots or nothing. We have food through the form of browse and stuff, in these trees. And all this cover, but during the late season, they generally are going to move to where there's a standing grain source and utilize that. But so I don't know. I'm not expecting to find a lot on our land because I do think a lot of the deer do move on. If we had the opportunity to plant some grains like standing corn or beans, we would. But at this time, we don't. And we'll see, but we got a lot of good cover and we got a lot of good browse, so that's going to play a pretty good role in maybe finding a few, but we'll see. Stay tuned. I'm coming up on a spot here that has a massive cherry tree. It's one of the biggest cherry trees I've ever seen. It's super cool. I'll show it to you here. Has a little rot decay down there at the bottom. I'm just looking in some of these pockets around these cedars as well. Haven't found anything yet, but having fun just looking at the sign, checking things out. So, seen a lot of good things and a lot more things to keep working on. This oak tree is insane. Give you an idea. This thing's got to be 50 inches in diameter. Crazy. Maybe a couple 100 years old. Just a beast. But this is the area right in here. I want to go through and get the honeysuckle and finish doing some TSI. And then there's gonna be a lot of oak litter in here because of all these nice oak, bur oak trees. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just in this half acre here, so they keep going as you go that way. It'll be a perfect spot to be doing some control burns, you know, on a yearly or every other, or at the very least every 3rd year. Once we get the fire break set, all you need is a drip torch, a leaf blower, and a rake, maybe a backpack sprayer, and be good to go. But you know, once I get the brush management, getting rid of the honeysuckle and treating it, and then the light TSI through here, getting some of these little trees. We really like to run a fire through here every year, every other year for a while, and see if we can get some good shrub component in here with some forbs, and it'd be a great spot for deer to bed and turkeys to raise their young. But yeah, overall it'd just be great habitat for everything. It's gonna be really fun to see this project come along. I'm gonna be getting after it here in the next year or so. Within 2 years, we'll really be able to see the progress come along. But I'm just taking a look at that as I'm looking at some of these clover plots that I'm gonna try to put in, since I want to put a clover strip right on the outside here as the fire break. This side here, I'm getting 20 feet from our property line, so we'll have to blow a leaf line through the woods to have a fire break over on this side. But anyway, it's just a really neat spot, and I'm excited to see how it comes along. Kind of climb through here. Oh boy! Speaking of sheds, so I've been talking about sheds. This is probably one of the #1 bedding areas as far as right now where the deer like to bed. But I just looked up right here. Yeah, I found that little spike about a month and a half ago when I was working on that other project. I found my second shed right here. I'm gonna walk up and check it out. I'm stoked. I've been looking a little bit, not a lot, just because I know we don't have the food really around us to, pack in the sheds by the dozen. But yeah, here it is. I'll show you. Oh, baby. Yeah, there we go. Little bugger's chewed on a little bit. Cool. That's exciting. So, right back in the bedding area here. So, nothing big, but got pretty tall brow tine for a young deer. Probably only a 1.5-year-old buck, maybe 2, but yeah, fun times. So I was just showing everybody this little oak ridge. He's just on the backside of this brush right here. So, pretty cool. Ouch. I was just starting to think in my head there probably really aren't any out here. But here is one. So it's all a timing thing, and we just don't have the food source to hold them close to our property from that hot window from February to early March. So it's gonna be hard to find too many sheds, but we'll still over time I think improve as far as how many we find, just because the habitat will keep getting better. But yeah, it's always fun finding one. So anyway, I'm just gonna glance through here real quick and see if I can't find one more and start chainsawing. Well, so I just want to recap on kind of the shed hunting tips that I have always went off of, I guess, for my life, and had really good luck with it. But like I said, bedding areas, if you can find south-facing hills with cedars, dotted cedars, and grasses. If the cedars are so thick that there's no more grass left, then it's usually not really the best. And so 10 to 20% cedar with grasses on a south or southwest facing hill. Found a lot of sheds in those areas, especially if you can find those areas that are adjacent to a good food source, a late season food source. Then it's killer. So second, food, like I just said, if you can combine the two, that's where you really up your numbers. And the deer are just so much more concentrated in that area from January through March when they're shedding. And that's just kind of how you got to think about it. Where are they at when they're shedding their antlers? I always figure even to really hone in on when they're truly dropping, February 10th to March 10th. That'd be the 1 month window that I shoot for. So usually around March 1st to March 10th is when I start looking pretty hard. So this year I've been looking a little. I don't have a lot of time and spots I want to look this year, but I used to spend a lot of time walking public ground looking in these locations I'm telling you about, and had pretty good luck over the years doing that. And obviously if you can get permission on private ground as well, that's always nice. Third, look on the ditch crossings, fence crossings, creek crossings between the food and the bedding areas that are obvious. Just walk those trails quick. And the other tip I threw out there is whenever I leave the house, I grab an antler. I usually a 2-year-old buck shed. It's 4 points, so it has the characteristics of a general antler. And I'll walk with it and hold it and look at it, and then I'll throw it out, 10-20 yards and just kind of get your eye trained. So I think that's important. It seems stupid, but it really helps your eyes get used to it, especially after you haven't done it for almost 11 months. So I think that helps a lot. Usually you hope you find one right away and then you can just use that and get into the swing of it, but that's another tip I like to throw out to people. But yeah, just in general, if you can hone in on where the deer have the food cover and water during that January, February, March time frame, then you're gonna definitely find sheds. So just hone in on that. And for me, with shed hunting now anyway, with owning some property, my main reason I like to get out here and look around is so I can read and see the sign, all the beds and trails and scrapes and rubs from the previous fall. It really helps hone in on making a plan and implementing it. Right now I'm doing a lot of the work, so it can tie right into the current time frame. So yeah, I think take that time and take this time of year to get out in the woods and really hone in on a plan, and then you can get after the work that needs to be done. So there's always more, and I keep thinking I'm making some progress, which I am, but there's just so much more. So it's a lot of fun and rewarding to see the work pay off. So finding sheds is always great, but I think it's a lot more important to learn about the habitat and the land and what the deer are doing from the previous year than it is to find an antler. Sure, it's great to know if you made it through the year, but you're gonna find out come summertime and early fall if he's alive or not anyway. So I'd rather get out in February and read the land, make a plan, and just kind of get after the work that needs to be done to increase your success for the next year. So as much as I love actually finding sheds, I love doing the habitat work even more. So maybe someday I'll show you some of the sheds I found in the past and have in my hunting room. Thanks for watching, and get out and do some shed hunting, or as I say, scouting for the next fall. Always chase your dreams. Thanks for watching.